Do you believe that every business is a media company?
Today, yes. Yes.
What kind of content? What does it mean? What kind of content they can create or should create? What's your take on media for a small business?
So does anybody know what was the first piece of content I ever made? Do you know the story behind it? I've never told the story. Anybody kind of knows the story or no? Do you kind of remember the first piece of content? Watch this. You're going to flip out when I tell you this. This is when I knew I have to create content. So one guy says, Pat, there's this thing called blogging. I said, what's a blog? He said, it was like there's the blog and there's the vlog. Blog, I thought it was the guy from Ghostbusters. I thought it was like wasn't it like a scary character movie back in the days called Blob or Blah? I don't know what that was. Who remembers? Anybody knows what I'm talking about? What was the guy's name? Blob? Okay, so I thought it was like a movie. He says blogging is writing, vlogging is video, right? I said, cool. Okay, go write a blog. And there's this website called WordPress.com. I said, cool. Well, I'll get to it. This is 11 years ago, okay? So I go watch this movie called Limitless. Who remembers Limitless? Anybody seen Limitless with Bradley Cooper? Okay. So I go watch this movie. I come home like, damn, this was a sick movie. So I'm online. I'm like, is there such a thing as NZT, okay? Anybody knows what's NZT? In the movie, that's the pill he takes where you can kind of like. So I write an article titled, Did Einstein Take NZT? And I just write 3 paragraphs on this article. I wake up in the morning, I got hundreds of emails. I'm like, what the hell are they? Everybody's asking me the same question. Do you sell NZT? Do you know anybody that has NZT? I'm like, and so now at this point, look how amateur I am. I am now conspiracy in my mind. This shit is real. There is such thing as NZT. They know. They know, and they're reaching out to me. Let me ask them. And then I realized, no, everybody read this article because I wrote the article the night the movie came out and it went viral. Okay? So a lot of people think my first content that went viral was The Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 Seconds. It was this article about NZT. So I was like, wow, the power of this. I just had so many great conversations with people about a movie. Okay, we have to create content. So now, how many of you are not comfortable on the camera? Raise your hand if you don't like the camera. Okay. How many guys are very good writers? You like writing and you're a very good writer. Fantastic. How many have a very good voice? Very good voice. Sing for us. Say something if you got a good voice, right? You raise your hand. Raise your hand if you got a very good voice. Raise your hand if you got a really good voice. Okay. So look, how many got all 3? You're good with video, you're good with writing, and you got a great voice. Raise your hand. Okay, you're the trifecta. You're like Justin Timberlake. You can sing, dance, and act, right? So whether you are or not, pick one of them today to start off with. If you don't like camera, don't worry about it. By the way, I wrote 3 years before I made a single video. I just wrote, okay? Do audio if you don't want to do video. But if you do video, you can do all 3. But if you don't, I'll give you a few reasons. I'll give you the pain, and then I'll sell you the dream. Let me first give you the pain, because you guys seem like the type of group that likes pain. Roofing, you like pain. Okay, so how many of you, your parents have footage of you when you were a kid? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many of you remember the first time you saw it and you're like, man, that's pretty cool, me as a kid? Who remembers that moment when you saw it, right? Okay, so check this out. One day, my dad, who's 80 today, he calls me, he says, you got to come home. Family's coming over. You will not believe what they sent me from Iran. And I'm fired up because I'm all about this history of Iran. So I'm coming home early. What did they send us from Iran? We go home. We found video footage from 45 plus years ago. No way. This is sick. Now, my sister is 6 years older than me. So I'm sitting there and they play the clip of my sister at 13 months old. And I'm watching this. I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool. She's so cute. But guess what I'm thinking the entire time? I can't wait to see videos of myself. And I'm thinking my video is going to have better quality production. It's going to be sick. So I'm just sitting, I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, that's great. What else? No, that's it. So like any more, maybe like, no, that's it. So where's the videos of me? Oh, we didn't record you. Bro, what you invite me to come see videos of my sister? I'm 6 years younger. You don't have a single piece of content of me? No. Isn't the quality supposed to be better? But we forgot with you. We forgot with you. That's when I knew my sister was a favorite. I knew that day, by the way. Okay? How many guys are parents and your kids are not in the room? Raise your hand. How many guys got favorites, but you'll never tell them? How many got favorites, but you never tell them, right? Never. Who's the favorite? All of you. I love you. I love you. I love all of you, right? So, here's a question. How many guys have content of your parents when they were kids? If you do, you're probably in your 20s and 30s. How many guys found a journal of your grandparents that are no longer here with us? Raise your hand if you actually, I want you to look around real quick. Look around. Don't look at me. See, can you stand up if you found journal of your grandparents? Just stand up because we are not like you. This is a very special community. Let me ask you, how many of you read through that journal and got emotional when you read a certain moment in their lives of what they were going through? Yes or no? Okay. To the rest of us that don't have that, how many of us would love to get that journal? Can I ask you a question? What would you pay for that journal? Honest question. What would you, if I right now told you, boom, Larry, bring them up, and they brought up the journals of your grandparents, honest question, put a price point to it. What would you pay for that journal? What would you pay for that journal? Give me a dollar amount. What's the number? I'm asking. 50 grand. How many guys would gladly pay 50 grand to see those journals of your grandparents, right? Guess what? Don't do that to your grandkids. Did you understand what I mean by that?
Yep.
Creating content isn't just for business. Creating content in life, there's a Jewish proverb that says every man should do 3 things. Write a book, plant a tree, have a son. What's the premise behind all these 3 things? To build something that outlives you. Creating content today, all we're caught up on is the fact that we're going to make money writing content. We're going to make money if we make a video. We're going to make, because if this video goes viral, I want to be so famous. Yeah, it's a different story. Your kids are one day going to watch that stuff. Your grandkids are one day going to say, wow, my mom at 42 was going through this. Mom, what was going on in 2023 when you wrote this article? What was going on in 2023 when you wrote this video? Is this when you guys were going through a hard time with Dad? Yes. I feel it in the way you said this in the video, Mom. Look at the date here. Watch this. And you're sitting there having a moment with them in 2068. That's cool. So on that selfish side, make it, because they're going to want it. On the business side, 30 years ago, if Steve Jobs wanted to break a story to everybody, outside of his annual meeting that he would do, he would go find a magazine that was super edgy, and he would call the editor-in-chief, Playboy. He would say, I'm launching a product. I'm writing an article. I want you to come out to the headquarters in Cupertino, interview me. We're about to make a big announcement. I want it to be on Playboy. Okay, great. We're on our way. Today, if a person wants to make an announcement, what do? You put it out there, you launch it. The great equalizer years ago was the gun, where a guy my size and a 79-year-old lady who was 5'1", 117 pounds were officially equal the moment she goes like this. We're the same size. We are officially the same size, okay? Today, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Tate, Dana White, UFC, Trump, Obama, I can go on and on and on. Everybody today who can get their message out there is competing with the bigger guys, and the bigger guys can no longer bully the little guys. The little guys who know how to use the most powerful weapon in the world today, this right here. If you know how to use the most powerful weapon in the world today, you can compete against the biggest guy in your industry. When we started our insurance company, all the big insurance companies were advertising commercials of whales. Anybody knows the insurance company that puts a whale in it? Have any one of you ever bought a life insurance policy because you saw a whale in a commercial? How funny is that, right? Or Snoopy, or a whale, or all these other animals, or a duck. I'm sitting there saying, tell a story. Tell a story of what happened with a family who bought an insurance policy. Tell a story of what happened with somebody who was struggling with roofing issues and they came to you, but talk to me from this standpoint. Too many videos are just making their argument through this. I was having a debate the other day talking to a group of pastors in the Christian community, and they're like, hey, we kind of want to get marketing to improve, you know, can you come and help us out? I said, look, let me just tell you who's doing it the best. I said, Mormons are doing it the best. I said, you ever seen Mormons YouTube? Any Mormons in here, by the way? Raise your hand if you're a Mormon, LDS from Utah, Mormon, we got one here. Anybody else? Right there. Have you guys ever seen Mormons YouTube channel? Yeah. Go look at their YouTube channel. Amazing. Look at the way Mormons tell stories. Look at the way they're marketing their stories. Look what's going on to Christian denomination church today. Look what's going on to Catholics today. They don't know how to tell stories. I'm not a Mormon, by the way, so I'm not pitching you to go be a Mormon. All I'm saying to you is, look at the way people are telling stories. Everybody is trying to convince people through here. This doesn't work. This does not work. This is what works. If you can get me to watch a piece of content from you and say, man, every time I watch her, she just comes across as a... By the way, why do you guys follow this guy? He's got 60-some thousand subs. He's #1 guy in the roofing business, content creator. Why do you guys follow this guy's content? Go ahead, tell us. Why do you follow his content? Raise your hand if you believe him. Do you believe him? Does he come across as trustworthy? Do you connect with him because he once used to run a business like you who sold it and transitioned? Do you connect with him? Do you like the fact that he calls out the bigger bullies who've been bullying the smaller businesses? Do you like the fact that he does that for you? How did he all of a sudden get 1,200 of you guys to come out here and all these people paying sponsorship to come to a convention center in the #1 convention city in America? How did he do it? He told stories. And other people said, I relate to this guy. I like this guy. Let me find out a little bit more about what's going on over here. And then let me buy a ticket to come here. Let me go and take my teammates over there. So content creation, if you're afraid of it, figure out one of the 3 methods to start, but don't wait too long to start and don't overcomplicate things. There's 2 things, either be niche, which is roofing, or something you know a lot about. For me, my first set of videos, if you want to know how not to do it, go watch my first 100 videos. I talk about so many random things. Finally, I went like this. What I know a lot about is running business. Then I started writing down things that I'm interested in gradually to bring them into my audience. I started doing bodybuilding interviews, 30 million views. I started doing mob interviews, few 100 million views. I started doing CIA, FBI interviews. I started doing JFK assassination research. I started Iran videos, China videos. All of a sudden, now we got a PBD podcast. Now it's like, now it's so wide. But we started off with a niche. So 1, niche industry. 2, what do you know a lot about that I can connect with you on? What is it? Is it sports? Is it cards? Is it UFC? Is it painting? Is it artwork? What is it? You would be amazed that audience is going to show up and find you out of nowhere. That's how this business works. But you have to at least start off with your first piece of content.